RPGs. From the many, many video games that we've grown to know and love, to the insane amount of tabletop games that we have seen absolutely exploding over the years, it is a genre that has grown so immensely in size that to talk about it, it would need its own video. Probably more than one of its own video. This video today is going to be about something a little bit different and one of my favorite aspects about RPGs in general. Character creation and what inspires us to make the characters we play and how we play them. Now, some people might actually be surprised that I'm choosing this topic for a video, and some people might even be thinking, oh, is this going to be about how to build characters? No, this is strictly about inspiration. There are other accounts out there that do go more in depth on how to build characters, and they can do it a lot better than I can. But I always find it intriguing whenever I hear people come up with, in the tabletop community, how their characters came to fruition. I'm the main game master and dungeon master for my group too, so I'm more often a spectator to these characters than anything else. And I know it might seem silly just talking to somebody or making a whole YouTube video about the inspiration behind fictional characters, but I've at least always found the conversation fascinating about what forms of literature or film or media or even other games that have inspired them to make these characters that are now making compelling narratives of their own, whether I'm a part of it or if I'm hearing it secondhand. And before anybody else says anything, I am also fully aware that not everybody else in the gaming community is as passionate about character creation as I and others may be. Sometimes when you sit down at a gaming table, you're sitting down with somebody who is prepared to step into the shoes of a half-elf who is on a path of self-discovery, on a path of vengeance, but also on a path to learn more about themselves and their family, on a path of self-redemption in the eyes of adversity. And sometimes you sit down at a table with Bobby from the game store, who's just Bobby from the game store, except he's a hippo with a musket. But that's okay too. If all you want to be is just yourself as a musket-wielding hippo, then that's fine as well. Not everyone's going to have the same level of inspiration as you do. Vice versa. And I know that it only sounds like I'm applying all of this to tabletop RPGs, but video games give us the same level of freedom too, even if it doesn't seem like it's giving us that option when we first enter the character customization. Dragon Age, Mass Effect, even games where no matter what you're playing as a character that is pre-designed with an origin that even though it passes from game to game, you have to maintain a structure, but the story is yours to carve out. Like Geralt in the Witcher series, or even JRPGs like Persona. Now, obviously, these are just examples of games that follow this particular format in the genre, and they also all follow an example of either an open world or a open world simulation type experience. There are games nowadays, and most of them lean more towards a pure open world experience and a fully customizable experience when it comes to your character. And I think as far as the type of experience I just described goes, we all know the game that I'm thinking of when I think of the main example of this, when it comes to fully customizable experience and fully immersible world that you can just sort of do whatever you want in. I mean, come on. Really? Do I have to even say it? I mean, even before the world of modding came along and allowed you to turn this place into an endless realm of cheese, among other things. As far as RPG gaming goes, Skyrim changed everything. And it's not just because Bethesda looked at themselves and went, guys, I don't think we can ever top this. Because, I mean, what? It's a game they've released how many times now? You know what? Just to be sure, let's find out. How many times has Skyrim been released? Yeah, I'd say that's a lot. Now, there may not have been that many people thinking about like backstories or when they were making their characters for Skyrim. They just wanted to make their character, get out of Helgen, and go kill dragons. That's probably the majority of you are thinking. But for those of us who maybe put a little thought behind this, and for those who haven't, I pose a question. When you start a brand new playthrough of Skyrim, you are, as you are in a great deal of Elder Scrolls games, a prisoner. You have been captured by the Imperials and you are brought to Helgen to face execution. Because you were captured along with other Stormcloaks crossing the border. Now, here's my question. As far as the border crossing goes for this character, have you ever thought to ask yourself this question? But why? Why were we crossing the border? What was the reason we were doing it? That's the question that inspired my playthroughs of the game and allowed me to come up with interesting backstories and ideas for myself when I was playing these characters. Now, not everybody does this because not everybody cares to do this, but it made the game more interesting for me, especially when I played as a Nord, because it gave unique dialogue specifically for when I was at Helgen. Or at least the dialogue seemed unique to me because it was one of the few examples that the guard at Helgen gives of you coming back to Skyrim crossing the border versus the other scenarios where it at least implies that you're trying to leave. Possibly. Once again, it's kept very ambiguous. But that's the point. Skyrim is one of many games that use this form of narrative ambiguity to help you, the player, create your own story and your own world building by letting you use your own imagination to fill in the blanks. And whether or not you've actually bothered to do this, or if you're just there to kill dragons, that's all up to you and your experience. One of the main reasons we even have this kind of origin, as well as the use overall in a lot of games of the silent protagonist, is because it allows for better immersion and our ability to generate our own story. Now, the concept of the silent protagonist is maybe something I'll go into in another video someday. Do you think that'd be interesting? You can easily take everything that I just discussed and apply it back to role-playing games, tabletop-wise, and it will all still work. Everything from silent protagonists to ambiguous origins, and all of it can build over the course of your experience, and it'll still work. It's okay. And when I say it's okay, what I'm saying is as long as the creative decisions that you're making are not going to negatively impact the experience of those involved, whether it's people at a gaming table for a tabletop or people involved in a video game that you're playing, have a blast with whatever creative decisions you're making. It's different when you have your own isolated gaming experience, because whatever you choose to do behind closed doors, whether virtual or physical, is your call. I mean, do what you want to do. But as far as the game experience goes when you're sharing it, people's boundaries and personal experiences need to be respected. So just keep that in mind. That goes without saying. Now, we've talked a lot about examples of inspiring moments. We've talked a lot about the different things that can inspire you and touched upon a couple of things here and there throughout this. So, big question. Why did I make this video? I don't know, man. I just like character creation. I'm typically the forever DM of my table, and I rarely get to play, and I just wanted to gush for a bit about some of the stuff that I think about whenever I think of some of the cool stuff that's like, oh well, this is a character that was inspired by my favorite book, or hey, I was watching this movie and I thought of this character here. And I get to play in quite a few tabletops, and back before my job was super crazy, I got to play a few video games and was experimenting with different character types in various RPGs I was playing at the time. So I just thought it'd be cool to make an entertaining video that sort of explored those concepts. Because in my opinion, the most amazing thing about character creation is that no matter what kind of story you're looking to tell or be a part of, 99% of the time, you will find a game for it, especially in the tabletop community. And let me be clear, I'm not just talking about Dungeons and Dragons, like the actual game Dungeons and Dragons. Like, for example, if you're looking to create your own custom superhero or bring a superhero that you thought of as a kid to life as part of their own experience and their own story, with other people making their own superheroes as part of a league of heroes of their own, there's a game for that. Do you want to be a gunslinging vampire who wields literal blood magic and who's trying to blend into the night society of their city and also cannot help but stare at beautiful objects? There's a game for that. Or instead of being a vampire, would you rather fight vampires or other monsters on a, let's say, week-to-week basis? I wonder. Oh, yep, there's a game for that. You know Cyberpunk 2077? Well, that is based on an existing tabletop. Well, would you want to be in a cyberpunk setting but with fantasy races? You want to be a orcish hacker with a bionic arm? Well, there's a game for that. Are you a big fan of mythology and want to have your own Percy Jackson style story but want to be from the Egyptian pantheon? Maybe the child of Osiris instead? Or any other mythology rather than just the Greek? There is definitely a game for that. I've played in the campaign for that. It's one of the few campaigns I've gotten to be a part of, and this is a must for tabletop fans, in my opinion. There are games inspired by real-world culture, games inspired by our favorite movie franchises, games that have rules and just rules to the point where you can craft whatever kind of story you want. Yes, that's a Kung Fu gorilla on the cover of the book. The options and the potential are limitless. And on one final note, and it will be a bit of a darker tone, if you're looking to be the villain, if you're looking to be the kind of person who is willing to destroy everything and everyone that you have ever known and loved, and that has ever known or loved you, for the sake of money and power, if you are looking to obtain absolute control over everything, no matter what the cost may be, no matter what blood is shed, then let me tell you right here and now, there is definitely a game for you. But let me warn you, in this circumstance, you just might be the only one role-playing. Hey there! I just want to say thank you for making it to the end, and more importantly, thank you for watching. I know this was different as far as videos that I normally do go, for those who are more familiar with the kind of content that I make, but I want to try doing this form of long-form video for a while, and this is a topic I've been thinking about for a while, so for those who gave it a shot, thank you very much. If you liked the video, then definitely consider hitting subscribe. It would definitely motivate me to do more, and it would be very much appreciated, but no pressure. And if you want to find me anywhere else, you can find me over in the following areas. The symbols around are the socials that I have. I definitely have a lot more going on TikTok right now, but I'm trying to get the blood pumping into this channel more. What amazing moments of character creation and inspiration have you had, and what would you like me to talk about next time? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, once again, thank you for watching. Stay awesome. See you next time.